Marianne Hester developed this model of the 3 planets to explain the contradictory messages that family court, child welfare courts, and criminal courts send to victims of domestic violence.
I started to develop this idea of the planets because I realized that, there were these very different sets of professionals and with different ideas about how to work in this field, and they thought they were thinking about safety for mothers and children, but actually that wasn't what was happening. The domestic violence and criminal court planet is where mothers and children first arrived when they've left their abuser or want support. It's about keeping women safe, so you've got shelters on that planet, you've got the police on that planet, you've got the use of criminal law and different sorts. It's a very well developed planet. The child welfare planet is a different set of professionals. The focus on that planet is the child.
The man who is the offender in the criminal court is usually virtually invisible.
It's very easy on that planet for practitioners to get frustrated and think the mothers aren't protecting the children. A lot of pressure on mothers to protect the child or to be told that the child might be removed. Father then decides to hop on to the 3rd planet, which is the family court planet. It's a planet, so we have a different set of professionals. In this case, we've got the family law professionals, the family court professionals, the people who are doing the mediation. So what we have on that planet is this idea that families are wonderful things, really. Sometimes things go a bit wrong, but then you can bring the parents together to negotiate, to talk to each other, to sort things out, to work out what to do about their children after separation. So you stick them together in a mediation session. But that doesn't take into account the dynamics of how domestic abuse works, which is about manipulation, threat that can be incredibly hidden to other people. So we have this real anomaly. We have a violent male perpetrator on the domestic violence and criminal court planet, whom child welfare says shouldn't be anywhere near the children. He then hops to the family court planet and suddenly becomes a good enough father. Now, this is the reality that women and children live in. And if you think about it, it's a complete contradiction.
The illustration that I would give is when a family court demands that a woman give complete access to a child to her former partner, and the criminal court, recognizing the domestic violence that this partner has committed, prohibits him from getting access to either his former wife or their child. So that if she adheres to the criminal court order, she's in effect violating the family court order. And if she adheres to the family court order, she's in effect putting herself and the children at risk.
The choices you're faced with is stay in the relationship and continue to experience violence, leave the relationship and know that your danger of being hurt goes up, and knowing that you may lose custody of your kids when you leave, or staying in the relationship and risking that you may have your kids taken from you. What they're doing is they're saying to the victim, and once again blaming them, you're responsible for that batter's behavior. So it's really a no-win situation.
What happens is that the women and children end up falling down the black hole, down the middle between those planets. They cannot solve the problem. And this is why women end up having to, if you like, hide. I mean, they in order to keep themselves and their children safe, they have to go through all sorts of mechanisms of then trying to deny and minimize what's really going on. Because in the end, the planetary, contradictory, systemic problem means that women and children can only lose out by that contradiction.